rock hikes. Hey friends and neighbors, this is a video and a hike I've always wanted to do. Today is the 17th on a Thursday of October 2019. I'm going to do the end-to-end and back hike of the rough trail in the Red River Gorge. It should be around 14 miles total, plus I'm going to camp up at Hanson's Point, which is another 2 miles out and back total. So this will be about an 18-mile hike over 2 nights. I wanted to make kind of a definitive video of what it's like to hike from one end of the Red River Gorge to the other, as far as the developed trails go. And I'm going to start on Highway 715 at the rough trail parking lot and head towards Martin's Fork eventually and turn around and come back. So hope you enjoy it. I'm going to make it very definitive and hopefully very scenic as well, so that people will enjoy not only looking at the scenery and seeing what there is to see in the gorge from this hike, but also if somebody's interested in hiking from either end, hopefully there'll be some good information. So stay tuned. And we're off. These blazes will be your guide on this trail. There'll be a part of the trail where the rough trail is combined with the shell toey trace, which has the turtle logo. Not even 5 minutes into the hike, you get to a junction where you'll turn left to continue down the trail, and you see this quite large rock formation. It's going to get much more impressive than this, but this just gives you a little idea of what's in store. So within the first 15 minutes, you get down to this obvious bottom area next to the stream. You don't see a diamond blaze either direction, but you do have to make a left here at those big logs, because you'll go just 10 or 15 steps. You'll see a footbridge that keeps you on the trail. And a little word about water. So the bottom of the valleys in the gorge almost always have water year round. It was the wettest first 6 months of the year I think Kentucky's had on record, and it was one of the very absolute driest July through mid-August, or mid-September, excuse me. And the gorge still has water. You just have to be willing to go down to the bottom of the valleys to find it. Probably a third of the way on the climb out of that first bottom area. And you can always count on this kind of stuff to make you feel a little bit less mindful of the climb. Must be half a dozen of these cave and rock structures on the right side of the trail. So depending on your hiking speed, 30 to 40 minutes into the trail, you will get to the top of that ridge, and as you look above you, you're going to see a magnificent cave area. This is easily 80 yards long from one end to the next. Rock overhangs. And this humongous area that goes at least 80 yards to the end. Looking back on that same area. And literally right around the corner, the second of these two humongous rock structures. It's hard for the video, I'm sure, to catch it properly. What a pretty stroll that was up here at the top. So you come to your first significant junction. It's Chimney Rock Road, gravel road that leads all the way up to Chimney Rock. The next real stop is down where the Sheltowee Trace merges with the rough trail. There's several creek crossings where you can get water. There's an obvious one right before the trailhead goes up to the next ridge, and that's where I recommend you get all your water for the hike up that ridge on the Sheltowee and for the overnight, depending on how much you plan to cook while you're at Hanson's Point or any other campsite up on the top of that trailhead. So this is a significant trail junction. You cross this little stream here, which in the springtime is not a little stream. It's a pretty good little ford. And the goal here is to get to where these trail signs are on the far side of the ridge there, and to turn right and stay on a rough trail. Isn't this beautiful? The water is 2 or 3 times higher than this sometimes. And all these trees growing out from the middle of the rock. Hard to believe that actually happens. You might be wondering, where are the views? Well, I promise you, you're going to get views on this trail from the top, and you're going to get a picture of the largest arch in the gorge, Gray's Arch, which is right on the way. And by going off trail to Hanson's Point, you'll get arguably one of the best views of the gorge. So this is going to be an epic 3 days and 18 miles, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I enjoy bringing it to you. One down. So just past that big rock in the last part of the video, you come to the most important trail junction probably of all. This says Sheltowee Trace. That's to Highway 715 in that direction, which is continuing straight as you came off of this last part of the trail. But that takes you to the suspension bridge and nowhere near the end of Rough Trail. You want to follow the signs for Gray's Arch. and you stay on rough trail. Hello, little feller. Hello, feller. Okay, so after getting water, an extra half a liter for drinking means I'll have what I just drank plus 2.5 liters to get me to the top of the ridge, and supper tonight, hot chocolate, coffee tomorrow, and enough to start down the trail with before I get to the next water source. Coming up to one of my favorite sections of this uphill. I call this the gateway because for whatever reason, as you head up this trail, it narrows in between a couple of rock outcroppings, and it kind of looks like this is like a nice designation for where the trail goes. Not quite to the top of that section. There's a little small pull-off that you can see from the trail. It gives you a little bit of this view. So hiking at a reasonable pace, about 12 minutes after that last video, that last little side trail to get the first of a few views, you come upon this humongous rock outcropping, which is part of the trail. The trail continues to the left over where I'm filming, but it's one of two nice places to rest on the flat rock. It's easily accessible from Pincham Tight, which is close to the Gray's Arch parking lot if you just want to do 1.5 miles. The next outcropping up this way, just in a couple of minutes, is the next opportunity for a pretty nice view. So we'll catch it now. Literally 1.5 minutes up the trail. The trail continues left here where we're going to be going, but there's this little outcropping on the right as well, and there's not much to see here just as far as the rock goes until you do this, and there it is. Just a beautiful view. Can't hardly get enough of it. So this is another equally important intersection. If you keep going straight here and follow the turtle up there, then you'll still be on the Sheltwee, but you will not be on the rough trail. The Sheltwee branches off here and goes off towards Natural Bridge State Park. What you're going to want to do is go down this way, follow the sign for rough trail, Gray's Arch. If you remember, Gray's Arch a minute ago said 4.5. Now it's 2.25. So we've gone 2.25 miles since that first major intersection at Chimney Top Road. We're going on rough trail toward Gray's Arch, literally less than 200 yards, and we're going to take an unofficial trail on the right to Hanson's Point. The very famous, not so secret, unofficial trail to Hanson's Point. When you see this big uprooted tree, if you were to go left, you'll notice there's no longer a turtle sign next to the blaze. That's because we're on rough trail, not the combination of rough and Sheltwee. That's where we're going tomorrow morning. But for right now, we're taking the unofficial trail 20 or 25 minutes up to Hanson's Point. So good morning, it's day 2. As I said earlier, I stayed the night at Hanson's Point, which is my camping spot for the 2 nights I'm going to be out doing the end-to-end rough trail and back. Today I'm going to do down and up to Rush Ridge on the rough trail, down and up to Gray's Arch. I'm hooking up with a buddy of mine I haven't seen for a long time, and we're going to hike out to Martin's Fork, which is the end of rough trail, the part of rough trail that attaches itself to Kentucky 77. Then turning around, doing 3 ups and downs to get back to this same unofficial Hanson's Point trail, back out to my campsite before I go out Saturday morning. More of what you've already seen on this video, walking around these rock structures and overhangs. Just very, very, very nice. We've reached the bottom of the first down and up out of Hanson's Point. There's this little log bridge. Not a whole lot of water at this moment, but at least there is some. If you needed it, there's another better place for water during the next section. And now it's time to shed some clothing because I'm going to go uphill and I got warmed up, so. Is the first of 3 turns, and this is really muddy, and you're going way up into there, and you're going to meander to the right to get around this big area. Toward the top of that previous picture, there is a tree with a blaze on it, so should be able to navigate that pretty easy. Just keep an eye out for the blaze. At this junction, you might think you could go left. People have probably tried it, but there's a clear blaze up there, which is what you're always looking for, and you're going to go underneath and to the right of that outcropping. Very slick rocks. And you've made it around the big rocks, made those 3 turns, and you're almost to the top of Rush Ridge at this point. Just a little bit of a climb. I'm sorry I'm interfering with them birds. 2 little climbs out of that rock area. Pretty steep, but small in duration, and you're at the junction of Rush Ridge and Rough Trail. You can go out to Tunnel Ridge Road going left on Rush Ridge. We're going to stay on Rough Trail. We're only a mile away from the arch. One of 2 sections of stairs climbing down into or out of the area between Gray's Arch and Rush Ridge. Just south of Gray's Arch, look what we're hiking next to. All these rocks with trees and roots growing out of them. It's really crazy. So you're right on the arch when you come upon this yet another beautiful rock outcropping. This is just before you get to Gray's Arch. So down at the bottom here, an obvious left-hand turn will take you completely under Gray's Arch in about 3 minutes. Just a little uphill climb, definitely worth it. See, you can go underneath as far as you want to go. I'm just going to stop here. Lots of videos on Gray's Arch by itself, even on my channel. So we're down at the bottom of Rough Trail, and you're going to see a sign for Daniel Boone Hut on the left, but we're going to keep going straight towards Martin Fork, and that'll finish the entire length of the rough trail across the Red River Gorge. Hello there. Back on Rough Trail, Saturday morning, heading home. I'm in pursuit of the sunrise, but I decided to leave Hanson's Point and walk out at night a little ways to that rock outcropping I talked about on day one, just off of the rough trail. So I've got about 5 or 6 minutes to go, and I should be at my own little spot waiting for the sunrise. Looks like it might be a good one.